Happy New Year, everyone! I'm Megan Sullivan, and this is my list of the 10 hypest RPGs coming out in 2025. Plus, as a bonus, at the end of this video, I'll be giving a shout out to RPGs that are either ongoing and getting future updates, or don't have a release date yet, but I'm hopeful that they will soon. Remember, if you like this type of straightforward and fun content, be sure to like and subscribe to this channel. I would truly appreciate it. Thank you. Before I get to this list, though, honorable mentions go to the following. The Suikoden 1 and 2 remaster, because hey, it's Suikoden and I have to at least acknowledge it, as well as Elden Ring, Night Rain, and Monster Hunter Wilds. Now, I still haven't finished Elden Ring, so I can't put Night Rain on the list, and I like Monster Hunter, but I'm not a huge fan, so I didn't include that game on the list either, but I wanted to acknowledge people's excitement for these two titles. Also, I wanted to give a shout out to Ghost of Yote. Originally, this was pretty high on my list, but then I realized it's really more of an action-adventure game than a proper RPG, so I decided to make some room for a different game. Nonetheless, I am super hyped for Ghost of Yote and cannot wait to see what Sucker Punch does with it. Okay, on to the list. So, starting with number 10. Borderlands 4, which is coming out on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC sometime this year. I'll be honest, initially, this game did not register on my hype meter at all. I was, and still very much am, grumpy about Borderlands 3. Not because the gameplay wasn't good, actually it was good, but the writing was pure cringe and the narrative design was terrible. And spoiler alert, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, they killed off two of my favorite characters. However, I was pleasantly surprised when the narrative director for Borderlands 4, Sam Winkler, stated that the toilet humor that plagued Borderlands 3 will be toned down significantly in this new IP. In fact, the game seems to be going for a more serious tone overall, which is a welcome change in my opinion. It was also noted that the game will focus more on the player character this time around, which is awesome because in past games, learning about my siren via Echo devices was frustrating and not overly rewarding. On top of that, Gearbox promises to focus just as much on the RPG side as the shooter side of gameplay, another change I really appreciate. Plus, we'll get to see new Vault Hunters, new loot, and a new planet with new enemies and obstacles to overcome. All of this is good news, and my hype level for this one just went from nothing to kind of hyped. Number 9, Atelier Yumia, The Alchemist of Memories and the Envisioned Land, which is coming out March 21st for all major consoles plus PC. This was another game not originally anywhere near my hype meter. Although I've played and enjoyed Atelier games in the past, see Atelier Iris, I avoided the Riza games because, and no judgment to anyone who enjoyed them, I just couldn't get past the creepy character designs and art direction. And I admit, when I first saw Atelier Yumia, I was like, yikes, they have tripled down on this. But its darker tone and older protagonist, I'm happy to say Yumia's starting age is 21, has me intrigued. On top of this, Gust and Koei Tecmo are really invested in making a higher quality RPG this time around, one that features a more open world with more player freedom and nifty features like base building but without the tedious crafting mechanic. It's been a while since I've played an Atelier game and I'm pretty darned hyped for this one. Number 8, The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky, First Chapter, coming out on the Nintendo Switch and PC at some point this year. I have a confession. I've played very little, see next to nothing, of the Legend of games, and until recently, I never really knew where to start. But the general consensus seems to be to start with Trails in the Sky, and now I had the perfect excuse to do so since this remaster introduces voice acting, HD visuals, the choice of real-time or turn-based action, that's kind of neat, plus revamped localization combined with the story and characters that made Trails in the Sky so popular in the first place. I really hope I enjoyed this game as much as other people, and there's a good chance I will, so my hype is pretty strong for this one. Number 7, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Warhorse Studios is back, and they're bringing us a sequel to their popular action RPG from a few years ago. But this time, they're doubling down on the action, while trying to make the game more accessible than the original. New features include better variety in terms of weapons and even more dynamic quests where your actions directly influence how these quests play out. For me, the most exciting thing here is that combat will be a little more streamlined this time around. It was tough to wrap my head around melee combat in the first game, so I'm happy that's being addressed in the sequel. These changes have me quite hyped, and the best part is I don't have to wait that long, because Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 comes out February 4th for PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Number 6. My hypometer definitely gets going for this next one, which is the Lunar Remastered Collection, coming out for all major consoles and PC this spring. We've had reiterations of Lunar Silver Star Story before, so I really want to focus on Lunar Eternal Blue for a moment. I loved Lunar Eternal Blue back in the day. The voice acting and music blew my mind, it was fun to play, it looked really good on the Sega CD, remember that? Oh, and it was the first time I heard cursing in a game. I have been waiting forever for a proper remaster for this game. No, I do not count the mobile version. And it's finally here, but with enhanced graphics and audio, plus quality of life improvements. Huzzah! Oh, and it does come with Silver Star Story, so yay, hype, hype, hype. Number 5, Avowed, coming to PC and Xbox February 18th. Avowed is Obsidian's first-person action RPG that lets you mix and match swords, spells, guns, and shields, all of that as you fight crazy-looking beings in the land of, well, the living lands? Now, this is yet another RPG I didn't initially feel a lot of hype for. I'm not gonna lie, it looks kinda generic, sounds kinda generic in terms of concept at least. There's no romance options, and I don't know, it just didn't really capture my attention at first. Luckily, previews for Avowed are mostly very positive and have upped my hype for the game considerably. Combat is said to be very punchy and fun, the sound design is supposed to be great, and true to any Obsidian RPG, you have lots of choices that will change the outcome of the story and your companion's opinion of you. Nice. Now, although I'm still keeping my expectations in check, I'm going to trust Obsidian, who has earned its reputation for good RPGs, and I hope that the developer pleasantly surprises me with Avowed. Number 4, now we're really getting hyped, because it's time to talk about Assassin's Creed Shadows, the latest iteration of the action RPG/stealth series by Ubisoft, coming out on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation February 14th. Assassin's Creed is finally making its way over to Japan, and although it's late to the party, good luck going up against Ghost of Yote and being compared to Ghost of Tsushima, I'm excited because it's going to dive into a really interesting subject matter: the chaotic rise and fall of Oda Nobunaga, the notorious 16th century warlord who began the process of forcefully uniting the warring states of Japan and bringing about the end of a nearly 200-year civil war. What's got me hyped is not only does the game look good, but I love the idea of dual protagonists. The story is told from the point of view of Yasuke, a loyal retainer of Nobunaga, who's based on a real historical figure, and Naoe, whose skill as an assassin is based on the real-life female ninja known as Kunoichi, and who has every reason to hate Nobunaga after he attempts to ruthlessly attack her village. Seeing Yasuke and Naoe clash but still have to cooperate is going to be an interesting dynamic, especially since they start off on opposing sides. Plus, having two heroes means we'll get two distinct choices in terms of gameplay. Want to smash things with a giant club or wildly swing around a sword? Yasuke's your man. Want to keep to traditional stealth gameplay and play with cool gadgets? Now is your assassin. Now, I admit this game could have been a little higher on my list, but the developer admitted they've been having some trouble with it, which isn't great to hear. However, Ubisoft has reportedly been working to course correct their mistakes and include all sorts of side adventures, new features, seasonal changes, a hideout, and different mission types. Plus, romance is back, so that's fun. I don't know if this game will hit the same high notes that, say, Assassin's Creed Odyssey did, the latter being one of my favorite games of all time, but here's hoping I'm right to hype up this game. Number 3, another super hype game for me is Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma for the Switch and PC. I love Rune Factory 4 and was bummed to hear that Rune Factory 5 just couldn't compete with its predecessor. That's why I avoided it. Actually, I avoided it because I keep hearing that it's super glitchy. Happily, Xseed looks to be back in the saddle with an entirely new and fresh take on the series. According to the official description for the game, Guardians of Azuma is an all-new adventure that takes place in the never-before-seen eastern country of Azuma. As an Earth Dancer, players will fight against the corruption spreading through Azuma and bring back hope to this once prosperous land. Neat. Not only does this game look pretty, but it has all sorts of promising features. New abilities and weapons, the chance to build up an entire village, not just your farm, and new romance and friendship options, all set in a very Japanese mythological world, which sounds right up my alley. And that is why I cannot contain all the hype I have for this game, which comes out sometime this year, hopefully very soon. Number 2, Fable 4. When I first saw the reboot of Fable, I was not impressed. I got the reveal trailer was going for quirky humor, but where was the actual game? Well, we finally got to see the actual game and it looks like an absolute blast. Actually, it looks really nice, which isn't a complete surprise when you realize the developer is none other than Playground Studios, makers of Forza Horizon, a gorgeous looking game. But it may not just look good. Rumor has it the combat is going to resemble Witcher 3's combat. That's pretty exciting. Now, we don't know a whole lot about the story right now, save that Albion's greatest hero, Humphrey, never heard of him, is now retired and walking you, the player, through what it means to be a hero. We're promised as a new player hero, entertaining interactions with NPCs, exciting combat, romance, and plenty of choices to make during our adventure. We'll even have our own fan club, but for haters for some reason. We don't have a solid release date for Fable just yet, but I am so hyped to play this game, and I hope you are too. Number 1, and finally my most hype RPG of 2025 is Clair Obscur. Expedition 33 by Sandfall Interactive, coming out on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC this year. I cannot wait to play this game. It looks as stylish as Persona 5. I love the idea of a turn-based RPG with real-time mechanics, and the voice cast is nuts. Charlie Cox from Daredevil, Ben Starr from Final Fantasy XVI, Jennifer English from Baldur's Gate 3, Andy Serkis, are you kidding me? Now I admit at first, the story sounded kinda lame. You're trying to stop the paintress from ever painting again because it messes up the world for some reason. But the story hints at something much deeper and darker. You're part of Expedition 33, and as the name implies, you're not the first expedition to try and save the world. What happened to the other expeditions? That is something you have to find out as you play the game. Ooh, spine-tingly. Other cool sounding features include the ability to switch party leaders at any time, customize everybody's look and style, and do cool looking chain attacks in combat. I don't know, everything about this just looks so awesome and I am so hyped for it. And I am happy to see that other people are hyped for it too. And that's my list. Now, before you go, I promised I would mention some games that are either out now but are getting 2025 updates, or are announced but have no firm release date and may come out later than 2025. So what future games or updates am I super hyped for? In terms of games, I'm super hyped for The Elder Scrolls 6, Dragon Quest 12, Titan Quest 2, The Witcher 4, and whatever the next major Fire Emblem game is. As for games that are getting a future update, I am looking forward to new features in Infinity Nikki, Final Fantasy XIV, Hades 2, and Fields of Mystria. There, I think I covered everything. Didn't I? What am I missing? Pokemon, maybe? What are you excited for? What's your top 10 hype RPGs of 2025? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. See you later.